All right, we're diving straight into one of the wildest frontiers in science today, neurotechnology. This is all about how we're linking our brains directly to computers, and in the process, we're being forced to ask some of the deepest questions imaginable about what it even means to be human. And this quote, it just nails it. The idea that your thoughts could directly change the world around you, that used to be pure philosophy, the stuff of late-night dorm room conversations. Now it's an engineering goal. It's on a project timeline with a budget. The future is officially here.
So first up, mind meets machine. And what you've got to understand is this isn't just a technical problem of getting the wires in the right place. It's way, way bigger than that.
So when we talk about neurotechnology, what does that even mean? Well, it's a whole toolkit. You've got brain-computer interfaces, BCIs, that can translate your brain activity into a command, like moving a cursor just by thinking about it. Then there are neural implants helping with medical conditions, and even systems that are designed to actually enhance our thinking. But here's the key. This isn't just one field. It's this powerful mashup of biotech, engineering, and artificial intelligence all crashing together.
Which brings us to the absolute heart of the problem. What this section is all about. Decoding a thought. See, it's one thing to listen in on all the electrical chatter happening in the brain, but how in the world do you turn that messy, chaotic, biological noise into a clean, precise digital command? How do you actually know what someone's thinking?
Well, to even begin to answer that, you have to realize that our whole idea of what science is has evolved. The old school view was that science is totally objective, a pure, detached search for facts that gets rid of all human bias. But the more modern view, from people like Kuhn and Longino, argues that science is actually a social thing. It happens inside certain frameworks, and our values actually shape the questions we ask and what we accept as an answer.
And that leads to this huge choice that every single neuroengineer has to make. When you see that electrical signal, that blip on the screen, is that the thought itself? Or is it just a physical echo, a shadow that the thought leaves behind? Answering that isn't a technical decision, it's a philosophical one, and it gets baked right into the software from the very beginning.
Now, this attempt to work backward, to see a part of the brain light up and say, aha, that person must be feeling sad, or they're definitely thinking about a cat. Well, that has a name. It's called reverse inference. And let me tell you, it is notoriously difficult to get right.
There's actually a famous and kind of hilarious study that shows just how badly this can go wrong. Researchers literally put a dead salmon into an fMRI scanner, showed it some pictures, and, you guessed it, they found what looked like brain activity. Now, obviously, the salmon was not thinking. It was dead. It was just statistical noise. But it became this huge lesson for the entire field. Your tools can fool you if you're not constantly questioning your own assumption.
So if we have all this trouble just interpreting the signals, what happens when we start collecting and storing them? That's where we get into our third section. The ghost's data. Because as soon as you can capture brain data, you walk straight into an ethical, legal, and social minefield.
To try and navigate all this, researchers have a tool. It's called the EELSI framework. It was actually created back during the Human Genome Project to get ahead of all the complicated issues that pop up with world-changing science. EELSI, it stands for ethical, legal, and social implications. And for neurotech, it's absolutely essential.
And the questions this framework forces us to confront are, well, they're massive. Ethically, think about it. What does informed consent even mean when a device could potentially read or even influence your private thoughts? Legally, who owns your brain data? You, the company that made the device? Can it be sold? And socially, what happens if this kind of cognitive enhancement is super expensive? Do we create a whole new level of inequality?
These are not just abstract problems for philosophers to debate. And that brings us to our fourth section, because this is where science gets personal. The technology itself is starting to show us a fundamental gap in our own self-knowledge.
Okay, so look at a standard brain-computer interface. On the surface, it's a beautiful, clean engineering loop. Step 1, you get the signal from the brain. Step 2, an algorithm decodes it. Step 3, an action happens. Boom, a prosthetic arm moves. And step 4, the user sees it move and their brain learns from that feedback. It's a perfect causal system.
But here is the giant catch. Just because we can make that loop work, just because we have that causal control, it doesn't get us 1 inch closer to explaining the actual experience. This is what's known as the explanatory gap. We can make the neurons fire to move the arm, but we have no clue why the intention to move the arm feels like something to the person having the thought.
And this isn't just a BCI thing. There's another incredible technology called optogenetics, where scientists can use light to literally turn specific brain cells on or off. They can flip a switch and make a behavior start or stop. But it's the same story. They have perfect control, but it doesn't explain the why of the qualitative feeling behind it.
So where does that leave us? Well, it takes us to our final section, the next frontier. Because this technology is forcing science itself to become deeply personal, and the next steps forward aren't just technical, they are profoundly philosophical.
What this really means is that the old idea of a detached scientist in a lab coat studying some object from afar, that's over. It's collapsing. With these tools, the human mind is the source of the data, it's the subject of the experiment, and it's the very thing we're trying to compute. The observer and the observed are becoming one.
So what does a responsible path forward even look like? Well, the experts are pointing to a few key things. We need to run what they call epistemic audits to constantly check those philosophical assumptions we're building into the tech. We have to change how we talk about it. We're not mind reading, we're building models. And maybe most importantly, ethics can't just be a checkbox at the end of a project. It has to be woven into the research right from the very start.
And all of this leaves us with one last truly mind-bending question to think about. As these systems get smarter and a machine is interpreting the signals from a human brain, who or what is actually doing the knowing? Is it the person? Is it the algorithm? Or is it something totally new? Something we don't even have a name for yet, being born in the space between them? That is the puzzle that neurotechnology is forcing all of us to solve.